Well, I'm Elena Priakhina, and I work in the Data and Innovation Services section of Euroclear. And today, I will tell you about our innovation and data strategy. The presentation will be in English, but I can, of course, address your questions in Russian. Прежде всего, я хотела бы поговорить о нашей миссии и нашем видении. И наша миссия заключается в том, чтобы создать финансовый маркетплейс будущего совместно с нашими коллегами. Мы в нашей компании имеем инновационную направленность, и также we
will not be able to achieve any kind of potential or any kind of growth that we're looking to reach. Got a few there innovation or what our strategy is innovation and data space. It is in order to build up an innovation strategy, you need to start from one side. You need to start on the existing corporate strategy, which kind of translates into the existing product and services. From there, you extrapolate growth opportunities which are related to those existing products and services. So that's on one side. On the other side, you look at the opportunities which are far away, look at market trends, so that's industry, and you use scenario planning to identify opportunities, right? To understand really how likely those trends will materialize and what impact they're going to have. And then from there, you kind of extrapolate to identify the opportunities or the potential growth opportunities. I've got a couple of examples now, which I'll outline briefly, and then we'll go into more details. So one is Investor Insights, which is a shareholder rights identification service. And that came from the regulatory demand or regulatory relevancy into sort of shareholder governance. It's another of our data product, and that came out on the basis of the regulatory requirement
Elena,
for greater transparency into data, greater transparency into, for example, requirements to demonstrate best execution. So, I mean, these are just two examples, but what we have here is we have like an innovation portfolio, examples of the innovation portfolio that we, and we're splitting it into three different segments. So core is essentially something which is closely related to the current customers, current services, and the idea of this section is really to offer improvement on the current offering. So we've got two examples here. One is Easy Focus, and Easy Focus is a new or easy way product at allowing clients to, and really with their investigative efforts on pending unmatched transactions, so to avoid any kind of penalties within or following CSDR regulation. So this is very much per client, per instruction offering. Then we've got a next one, which is the artificial intelligence study. And here what we did is we looked at the what's going on really in the market within the space of current developments in the space of AI, and we identified a few use cases which could potentially be applicable in Euroclear, and those, amongst others, include operational efficiency and risk. So then moving on to the adjacent segment, here we are talking about new products, new revenue streams, even maybe, but those ones that leverage the existing or that have a reliance on the existing products and services. So I've mentioned Euroclear Investor Insight, which is, as I said, so it's an offering for the shareholders in order to, for the issuers, in order to provide greater transparency into the shareholders and, well, into their investor base. And this is currently being offered by the ISAs CSDs of the group. So that is Euroclear France, Belgium, and Netherlands. And as I said, like this has been regulatory driven in order to bring more kind of governance and more transparency into this segment of the market. Then the next one is the Euroclear Information Services. And this is related to us leveraging the data that we use in the core and in our core asset servicing business. We are now, and I'll spend a little bit of time talking about it later, but we are able to offer data packages to our clients to support their trading activity, risk activities, and that data is exactly the same as we use to support our core settlement services. Right, and then we move on to the last part, which is transformative. And here, essentially, we're talking about something which is really far, far, far away from the current core services. So there's really no reliance at all on what we do now. And there are two examples here that I have. One is digital asset strategy. So here, the couple of things in there. So essentially it is, how we can use, for example, DLT to realize any kind of significant cost savings, or whether we could use, or whether we could offer potentially, whether we could start potentially offering custody services for custody and settlement services for crypto assets. How can we use different delivery mechanisms? So, for example, providing some of our data products that we provided using API, so using new technologies. And I've mentioned about AI as well, so looking at various ways of how we could use different new technology to increase efficiency within our process and there pass on these benefits to our clients. And the last one on this slide is the Cbdc experiment with Banque de France. So this was a partnership between Euroclear, Banque de France, and IBM, and we looked at we looked at the feasibility of running CSD activities on blockchain. And we are now at the final stages of sort of running the experiment, running various use cases. So then the next step for us would then be to go over the findings and well, to understand what ultimately what the feasibility is going to be. Now, I've said that I was going to spend a couple of minutes talking about data, and here what we're looking, or what we're seeing, again, if we're kind of going back to talking about market trends, more and more there is a demand for better accuracy of data, better timeliness of data, reliable sources of data. And we feel that Euroclear is uniquely positioned to provide that. We are a financial market infrastructure. We have been providing services, core services, for over 50 years. And over the past 2 or 3 years now, we have started providing data feeds to clients to support their activity outside of settlement. So, that could be risk, that could be trading activities. And, the fact that this data is actually used for core services and have been used for such a long time, we feel that just really underlines that this data is reliable and accurate. Now, we have 2 segments of what we provide. We look at reference data and settlement activity data. Within reference data space, there are new issues alerts. So here we are an issuer CSD, and we're able to provide securities notifications, or notifications of the new issues rather, prior to the closing dates. We have a comprehensive feed of terms and conditions data plus settlement information for securities which are eligible at Euroclear. Full coverage of corporate actions on fixed income instruments, and that's whether you hold the securities or you don't. And by the way, that also applies to all the other offerings as well. So you don't need to have a position in Euroclear in order to be able to have, for example, different feeds. And lastly, it's liquidity drive, and that is provision of liquidity indicators on currently fixed income, and that reflects the holding and the activity, so settlement activity that has been taking place in Euroclear. And talking about sort of new technologies, that service, for example, is delivered through API. Now, I've mentioned something in the beginning as well, that we think that if it comes to innovation strategy, that it's not just going out and speaking to clients about it. We feel that having a kind of an innovative mindset within the company is very important. And we have a few initiatives that are running throughout the year, that are running constantly, where we solicit. So, for example, there is Jumpstarter, so where we solicit ideas from employees and increasingly actually from external partners as well. We have, for example, innovation forums, where we invite external speakers to share their ideas of innovation, which is generally their experiences in the market. We also run innovative bulletins, which essentially is researching and reporting any kind of new developments. So that is it from me. I hope you found the presentation useful.
Спасибо, Елена. Да, очень полезная презентация, много информации.
Thanks, Elena. It was really very useful, a lot of information, and I hope that our guests will find it useful as well, and that it will be applied. No questions to you so far. If there are any, we will come back to you for sure. Thanks, Elena, and till next time.